As you find that comfortable seat for yourself, take a little time to shift, to move, to allow that tilt of your pelvis so that your belly can come a little bit forward. And then rest your hands down. Let your eyes close and begin to tune into this space that you're sitting in, that you're present with. And just start to notice how you feel in this space. Notice the details of your senses. Notice what you're hearing. Notice what you're feeling. Maybe that's air on your skin or the contact that you have with the ground with your legs. Notice any smells. Even notice your eyes behind your eyelids. Depending on the day, you might experience a little bit of color or some shapes. And then even notice anything that you taste right now. Maybe it's a little residual coffee or whatever it happens to be, might be an effect of what you're smelling. And with all of your sense perceptions, start to tune into how your body's feeling. And now connect hands together at heart center. And as you push your palms together, lift your heart up just a little higher. As you exhale now, bow toward your heart. As you softly open your eyes, very slowly take in what you see around you. Start to lift your gaze, release your hands down. Just take a moment to sense and see and notice what's going on around you. You can turn your head a little bit and take it in. And then as you come to a tall spine, lengthen up through the back of your neck. Roll your shoulders back a few times. And now let's get right into chest opening and upper back expanding. So take fingertips in front of you. Elbows lift up. I like to call these ballerina arms. Push your fingertips together. Take a big exhale and round through your upper back, expanding into that space in between your shoulder blades. Tuck your chin down. Inhale, open up. Elbows come to your sides. You're expanding into that gratitude place, letting your chest expand. Exhale, fingertips come together, round through your upper back. Inhale, open up, expand, lift. Exhale. Inhale, lift up. Now this time stay open. Move through shoulder blades, lift them up and down. Then keeping shoulder blades hugging onto your back, pulse with your arms. And as you pulse with your arms, you're getting to maybe feel your shoulder blades draw toward each other and release. Good, now staying as open as your body is ready for, take ear to shoulder, allowing a little movement through your neck, a little expansion through your chest at the same time. Then back into center, switch the cross of your legs, Coming to the less comfortable cross for yourself, and then shift your sitting bones. And now hands come behind to clasp, and as you clasp your hands, lift up and open through your shoulders. And keep your hands pressed right against your low back here. And as you keep them pressed against your low back, and you can even think of maybe a little lower than low back, right up at your sacrum, think of tilting your pelvis so your belly is coming forward. Hug your elbows back, and then engage your low belly. So you're supporting your low back, but don't let your pelvis tilt the other way. Don't let it push back. Take a big, deep breath. Good, then gently release your hands out to your knees, and with your hands rooting into your knees, press your spine back into a cat-like pose, chin tucks in. Add that movement here through your head and your neck, maybe shaking your head no toward the ground, or gentle nods, or ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Then lifting up tall, reach your arms out long to the side, plug in with your shoulder blades, engage your hands like you're trying to stretch out through your fingers, but keep your shoulder blades plugged in. So it's a little pull in one direction and then hug in the other direction. Little circles backwards. We'll warm up just a little bit more through some of that stuff that might get stuck behind your shoulder blades, in between your shoulder blades, at your rotator cuff. Good. One more big breath here. Keep the circles small and moving backwards. Then turn your palms forward, thumbs are up. You're still keeping shoulder blades hugged in even as you reach out, and little circles backwards. This was one that was shown to me by a yogi PT friend years ago, and it's always stuck with me as some of the best way to work through some of that stuck fascia. Good, and pause, turn your palms up. This is the last rotation that's possible, right? Hug in with your shoulder blades and reach out at the same time. Little circles backwards. Big, full, deep breath, even as you keep your circles small. Good. One more breath. Then release your arms down and say, ah. Roll shoulders back, move through your head and your neck, check things out. Notice how you're feeling. Good. Okay, shift forward onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, you're setting yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then push with your hands so that you have that expansion through your upper back. Now rotate elbow pits forward. Take a big deep breath here. Fill up your back body with breath. Now inhale, slowly tilt your belly down, not to the most deep extreme you've ever been, but keep that and push with your hands so you're expanding into your upper back. So it's like you have a little low back bend, but then a cat pose in your upper back. As one of my favorite teachers says, it's called cacao, cat and cow. Take another big breath right here, and as you do so, try to fill up belly, ribs, chest. And now go ahead and move the other way with your low back. So you're tilting your tailbone down, your low belly pulls in. Again, not to the deepest place you've ever gone. Think of a little bit of gentleness. And then push again through your hands. So your whole back body is expanded. Take a deep breath. Good. Inhale, come back into center. Now stretch back with your right leg. Push your heel back, long through your leg, then turn open with your hip. So you're coming into a little bit of hip opening here. Press with your hands again. Feel that lift through your low ribs. On your exhale, you're stepping your right hand to the outside, stepping your right foot to the outside of your right hand. Work your back knee back as far as you need. And from here, if you want, you can always rise up on the blocks. As you all know at this point, I love Crocs. They just make things accessible, and sometimes that means that you can work a little deeper for yourself if you actually bring the floor closer. So push your back knee down and allow your hip to lift a little bit, and then bend deeper into your front knee. Extend your heart. Good, so now you're gonna take your right hand to your block right on the inside of your right leg. So your leg and your arm can be right up against each other, and you might have to shift it so that your wrist is under your shoulder. Left leg, turn your toes to the right side. So you have a little bit more of a base here. Left hand to your hip as you start to turn your belly and your heart open to the left. Put both shoulder blades onto your back, and then notice right knee and right glute. Wrap your glute down and under so your knee turns more toward the pinky toe edge of your foot. Big deep breath. On your exhale, both hands come back down to your blocks or the floor. You can turn your back leg back to center and then set your left hand on a block or the floor on the outside edge of your mat. Right hand comes to your knee as you turn your belly and your heart to the right side. Put both shoulder blades onto your back and push your left hand down. And then maybe stretch your top arm to the sky. Maybe keep your hand at your hip or your knee. Full breath. As you exhale, draw your low ribs in to help you maybe twist just a tiny bit more. And now bring both hands back to your blocks. This time grab your blocks. You're gonna heel toe your front foot into center. And now hamstring stretch here. Work your hips back, work your front leg towards straight, and move your blocks to the point where your wrists can be stacked underneath your shoulders. Now flex your right foot and push your heel down to create a little lift through your right knee. And now send your sitting bones back. And in particular, try to send your right hip back. As you do that, you might find that your whole leg rotates in your hip socket. Take a big, deep breath. Whoops. Could sworn I turned my noise off. Good, take one more big breath right here, sending sitting bones back, extend your heart. And now bend into your front knee, settle back onto hands and knees, and then pause for a moment, hips to heels in a child's pose, and take a really big breath. You might move around a little through your hips or inch your fingertips forward, but find a place where your head can rest. So that might be forehead on a block. Take a deep breath. Then inhaling, rise back to your hands and your knees. You're setting yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then find that push through your arms. Rotate elbow pits forward. Reach your left leg back behind you. Turn open with your hip. Stay pushing. Deep breath. On your exhale, you're stepping left foot to the outside of your left hand and working your right knee back as far as you need. And then blocks underneath your hands here if you would like. Extend your heart forward. Pause and find that action of your glute wrapping down and under on your left hip. And find the action of your right knee pushing down to help your hip lift a little bit. Long spine. Take a full deep breath. Good. Now turning your back knee so your toes are off to the left side. Your left hand and your left leg are connected even as you, or your left arm and your left leg are connected, even as you bring your right hand to your hip. Turning your belly and your heart open, just notice the tendency when you turn your torso to the right for your left knee to want to turn to the right as well. So you get to really actively keep it open using your glute. Deep breath. Then on your exhale, both hands come back to your blocks or the floor. Work your back knee back to center. And then set your right hand on a block or the floor. Left hand comes to your knee as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the left side. As you do that, push. Right hand down, shoulder blades on your back. Push, back knee down. Take a deep breath. And use your exhale to help your low ribs pull in. Next, exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat. Find your blocks. Rise up to the highest point. Heel toe your front foot in, and then start to shift your hips back, finding that hamstring stretch here, front leg towards straight. You can always shift where your heel is to make it more comfortable, but pull your toes back and push down. As you push down, that enables your knee to unlock. So if you're a hyperextender, that helps stop the hyperextending. Wrap your left hip back and tilt your sitting bones up. Extend your heart, take a full deep breath. Good, one more big breath here. And then inhale, bend into your front knees, set both hands, and settle back onto hands and knees, and then a child's pose. Best way to check out the state of your hamstrings, low back, and hips is taking a child's pose. Take a couple big breaths, letting your forehead rest down, creating more length as you reach your fingertips, maybe swaying your hips a tiny bit. Then inhaling, rise up to hands and knees, set yourself up. And as you push down with your hands, find that rotation of upper arm bones. Tuck your toes under. You're trying to keep that action in your arms, even as you lift your hips up and back into a down dog. Take a big deep breath and pedal out with your legs, slowly checking out the back sides of your legs, your calf muscles, your hamstrings. Maybe if you allow a little turn through your hips and torso, you'll experience some outside edge of your leg stretch. A little IT band area. Then back into center, walk your feet forward, take as many steps as you need. And then inhale and lengthen part way. Knees stay bent here, tilt your sitting bones up. Exhale, fold over your legs, and as you fold, you're keeping that little bit of micro bend, but tilting up with your pelvis, so your sitting bones are trying to lift. Try to create almost a lumbar curve, a low back curve. Inhale, lengthen part way, hands up above your knees. Again, send your sitting bones up, and then walk your hands up your legs, rising up into your mountain pose. So feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and push down. Now, big circle with your arms. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, hands come to heart center, connecting thumbs right at your chest. Push your palms together. Lift your shoulders up and back. Take a deep breath. Good, so now find your balance onto your left foot. You're welcome to hold on to a wall or a chair here. Lift your right knee up and clasp your hands under your thigh. And if you need to, or if you want to, you can always take that towel or strap and hold on to your thigh here instead if this feels uncomfortable, okay? So flex your right foot and wrap your right hip down. A little bend to your standing knee. Squeeze your left glute for support. Think of that as how you push. Then push hamstrings into your hands as you extend your leg forward. Take a big deep breath. You might keep a good micro bend here. You might have more of a straight leg. But what I want you to notice is what happens with your upper body from hips up. If you start to push your foot forward and you either round forward or lean back, then come back a little ways. Bend your knees so you can stand tall. Take another big breath wherever that is. Push hamstrings into your hands. Inhale, heel draws back in, set your foot back down. And then find your balance onto your right foot. Lift your left knee up and clasp. Or again, hold on with your towel or strap underneath it. That's okay too, okay? So flex your foot, Then think of your right side, bend your right knee, squeeze your glute and push. Wrap your left hip down. As you do that, your knee will turn a little to the left. And then begin to press forward as you press hamstrings into your hands. Lift your chest. Remember, you're only pressing as far forward as you can stay upright through your torso. Take a big, deep breath. Good. One more big breath. Reach through your heel, even if you have a considerable bend to your knee. Good. Inhale, heel draws back in, and release your foot back down. Feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and root down with them. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. And in your fold, knees are as bent as you need for your belly to come to rest against your legs. If it's not comfortable in your fold, if that irritates a low back, then maybe come up to your hands being at your knees here. This is still a fold, okay? So find where that is for you and tilt your sitting bones up. Good. Take a big, deep breath. So common misconception that many of us learned through PE growing up would be that we need to straighten our legs and forward fold. And that's just not the case, okay? More important for your spine to be long and not rounded. So bend your knees a little bit more and tilt your sitting bones further up. And then say to yourself, self, I can actually straighten my legs more without locking my knees if I tilt with my sitting bones instead. There you go. There's my little spiel. So take another big breath. Sitting bones lift. Good. And then plant your hands and walk your feet back. Downward facing dog pose. Take a moment in your down dog to pedal out and notice how things feel. And then settle knees down, hips to heels, and check out the connections again. And then gently bring yourself all the way back up to a tall spine. And then you're going to bring sitting bones to the ground. Now I want you to find your blanket. And then if you have really tight low back and really tight hamstrings, then you can go for something like a pillow or a bolster instead. But if you have some reasonably open hamstrings, grab your blanket, find a long fold, and roll it up. And then you're going to set that underneath your thighs. Not underneath your knees, but it should still help your knees not lock down. And then find your strap. Whatever you're using, a towel, could actually be a yoga strap, and put that around the balls of your feet. And so when we use a strap in our forward fold, the goal is not to pull ourselves forward. That often does a little wrenching on the low back. It makes it round in a direction that it's not meant to go. Instead, we're using the strap to help ourselves sit taller. So you're creating a little tension that helps you to flex your feet as well. Push your heels down and then tilt your pelvis forward. So your belly's coming forward. Hold on to the strap to help you sit even taller. And now, as you hinge from your hips, you can start to fold. Your elbows can bend here. Coming to that place that feels the best to you, you might walk your hands a little further down the strap. But notice all the way at your low back, at your sacrum. And allow it to tilt forward as you tilt your pelvis. Take a big deep breath. Good. And now go ahead and take the straps off of your feet as you rise back up. You're going to take the blanket or the pillow out, lock your heels in so you have a considerable bend to your knees. And now from this place, keep your feet flexed. Push them down and even pull them back so that your pelvis can tilt, your belly comes towards your legs. Hold on to your knees. Take a big inhale here, lift up through your entire spine, and then walk your hands down your legs. Maybe you take a hold of your feet here, or you stay at your shins, your choice. But notice down at your low back and keep tilting forward with your pelvis, belly coming forward. From that place, if it works for your body to start to work your legs out towards straight, then feel free to. If not, keep your knees considerably bent, but still notice your low back. Long, long, long through your spine. Push your heels down and keep your knees from pushing toward the ground. Take one more big breath. Then inhale, gently work your way back up to your seat and walk your feet in. The blanket can come to the back of your mat for your head if you would like. And then make sure you can reach your strap. We're going to lay all the way down onto our backs. And from your back, kind of like the pose that we just did, balancing on one leg, we're going to use our strap on our foot this time. So hug your knees in close for a moment and rock, and just sense what's happening for your low back. If you have any tension here, make a mental note of it. Just recognize what's happening for you. And now take your strap, and again, it can be your blanket, it could be a towel, and you're going to take your towel or strap around the ball of your right foot and extend it upward, holding on with both hands, and then set your left foot rather on the ground. From this place, holding on with both hands on the strap, I want you to find a rotation of your thigh. So right thumb into your thigh bone, into your hip crease, if that helps you find it. Push your hip crease forward so that your whole leg rotates in your hip socket. Your toes will rotate to the right side, okay? So from there, if it feels good, you can extend your left leg all the way out against the ground. But then tone your left foot, pull your toes back, rotate your inner thigh down. Then from your heel to your hip socket, pull in. This helps to even out your hips a little bit more. So you have those two actions that you're doing to help even out your hips, and sometimes that helps to release the low back, okay? So now tilt your pelvis so that your low back is lifting a little, and take a deep breath. And just notice that I'm not trying to pull my toes toward my face, but instead lengthening my hamstrings upward, my heel upward, my calf muscle. And now bend into your right knee. You can take the strap off, hug your knee in, and just take a big, deep exhale to pull it in a little bit closer. And then set your foot on the ground, second side, left knee draws in, lasso your left foot and begin to extend. And again, hold on with both hands, or if you could use your left thumb as a little support, you can take your left thumb right into your hip crease and give that push so your whole leg rotates in the hip socket, okay? If you can keep that without holding on with your thumb, then you can go ahead and take a hold with both hands here. But sometimes it's nice just to keep that action, okay? If you want, right leg extends out, foot flexes, your inner thigh rotates down, and then pull in from your heel to hip socket to help your hips level out a little bit more. And now tilt your pelvis so your belly is moving a little bit forward. Your low back is lifting a little. Take one more big breath. Then gently bend your knees, your knee. Plug it into your chest. Give a good squeeze. And then set both feet on the ground. Grab pillow or bolster, especially if you have a tight low back. Let your legs come to rest. You can grab your blanket for underneath your neck if you want. And start to find that position of Shavasana that serves you the best right now. It allows your body to rest, to release, to let go. Then take some full deep breaths. As you tune back into your breath, sense your body in this space. Begin to add gentle movements into fingers and into toes. As you're ready to, you can bend your knees and roll to one side. And then slowly push down into the ground to bring yourself back up to your seat. Connect hands together at heart center, and with your eyes closed, take a deep breath. Have a very peaceful, very beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.